Have you ever experienced a silence so heavy that it felt like it was physically crushing your chest? It isn't the peaceful silence of a forest at dawn, nor the calm quiet of a library. It is a cold, suffocating silence that rings in your ears like a persistent, high-pitched siren. It is the sound of a void that words cannot fill. I remember the morning after my first major loss with terrifying clarity. It was late 2021. I woke up, and for one brief, beautiful second, I forgot I was just a man waking up to the soft light filtering through the curtains, ready for another day. But then, in the very next heartbeat, it hit me, a tidal wave of ice-cold memory. The red numbers, the flashing margin call notification, the account balance that had been wiped clean, showing a number so close to zero it felt like a mocking laugh. It wasn't just a loss of currency. It felt as though a vital part of my soul had been deleted overnight. As an engineer, my entire world was built on the foundation of fixing things. If a structure was leaning, you reinforced the base with steel. If a calculation was off, you re-ran the numbers, found the error, and corrected the blueprint. There was always a manual to follow, a logic to apply, a set of physics laws that never lied. But that morning, staring at my trading account, I realized with a gut-wrenching finality that I couldn't fix this. The money was gone. The hours of overtime on dusty construction sites. The years of disciplined savings. The sacrifices I made under the heat of the sun. It had all vanished into a digital abyss in a matter of hours. For the first time in my professional life, I felt a kind of helplessness that no university degree or technical manual could have prepared me for. My skills meant nothing here. The blueprints were useless. I wasn't a respected engineer in that moment. I was just a man forced to stand naked before the mirror of his own greed and failure. The silence of that room was the loudest thing I had ever heard. It didn't happen like a lightning strike. It was more like a slow, agonizing slide into an abyss. A crash is rarely a sudden cliff that you fall off unexpectedly. In reality, it is a series of small, ego-driven decisions that slowly tighten like a noose around your neck. At the time, I was trading soybean oil. It felt like a safe bet. I had spent weeks studying supply chains, reading agricultural reports, and analyzing weather patterns. I approached the market as I would a construction project, with a plan that I believed was foolproof. I entered my position with a sense of calm confidence, convinced that the numbers were on my side. But then, the market did something I hadn't accounted for. It moved against me. In that moment, I didn't see a warning sign. I saw an opportunity. My engineer's mind, which always sought to optimize and solve, took over. I did what every beginner does when they are terrified but refuse to admit it. I doubled down. I told myself, the math says it has to revert. Markets move in waves. If I buy more now, I'll lower my average entry price, and the recovery will be even more profitable. This is the engineer's ego in its most dangerous form, trying to force cold logic onto a market that, at its core, is driven by pure, raw human emotion. I stayed up until 3 a.m. in the suffocating stillness of my room. The only light was the harsh, flickering glow of the price candles on my monitor. Every tick downward felt like a physical blow to my chest. I wasn't just watching numbers, I was watching my life's work bleed away. I started bargaining with the universe. A desperate prayer whispered to an empty room. Please, just let it bounce back to my entry point. If I can just get out even, I promise I'll never trade like this again. I'll be disciplined. I'll be better. But the market is a deaf god. It has no ears for your prayers. And it certainly has no heart for your sacrifices. It doesn't care about your mortgage, your family's future, or how hard you worked for that capital. It only knows price action. When the final liquidation hit, and the screen flashed that cold, indifferent message of, insufficient margin. I didn't scream. I didn't throw my laptop. I just sat there in the dark, the blue light of the monitor reflecting in my eyes. Feeling my dignity vanish, I realized my years of technical training were useless because I couldn't even control the impulse of my own finger on a mouse. It was a total breakdown of character. The hardest part of that first blow wasn't the empty bank account. Money, as painful as it is to lose, is ultimately just a resource that can be remade with time and effort. But the shame is a different kind of debt entirely. It is a debt that interest cannot cover and that no bankruptcy can wipe clean. That weekend, just days after my account hit zero, I had to attend a family lunch. I remember sitting at a table filled with the people I loved most, my parents, my wife, my siblings. I listened to them talk about their small, beautiful joys, a new plant flourishing in the garden, a modest promotion at work, or simple plans for a summer holiday. And I sat there among them like a ghost. I was physically present, nodding and smiling at the right moments. But mentally, I was miles away, trapped in a dark room with a flickering screen. I carried a secret in my pocket that felt as heavy as a mountain. Every time someone looked at me with pride, the successful engineer of the family, I felt a sharp, agonizing pang of guilt. They didn't know that behind my calm exterior, I was mourning a financial suicide. This is the hidden tax of trading that no one warns you about in those flashy YouTube ads. It isn't the spreads, the commissions, or the slippage. It is the profound emotional isolation. I wanted to scream, to shatter the glasses on the table and confess everything. I lost it all. I failed you. I gambled away our security. But the words felt like lead in my throat. I was terrified of the look of disappointment that would inevitably replace the love in their eyes. I was scared that if I told the truth, the image of the reliable, stable man they knew would crumble forever. I felt like I was wearing a mask that was becoming heavier by the second, suffocating me. People often imagine trading as a glamorous life on a beach with a laptop. In reality, for many of us, it is sitting in a crowded room with the people who mean the yacht to you, and feeling absolutely, 100% alone. I realized that day that the market is a mirror. It doesn't just show you price trends. It reflects exactly who you are when you are under pressure. It reflected my dishonesty, my cowardice, and my inability to admit I was wrong. I had become a gambler who called himself a trader, and that realization was far more painful than the margin call itself. I was walking a path built on lies, and the market had just stripped me of my armor, leaving me to face my shame in total silence. If you are listening to this right now, perhaps sitting in your car after a long shift, or staring at your monitor late at night in a room that feels too small, and you've just lost everything, I want you to listen closely. This pain you feel, this cold hollow in your chest, is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. In the world of structural engineering, we have a critical process called stress testing. We take a material, whether it's a high-grade steel beam or a block of reinforced concrete, and we apply relentless pressure until it reaches its absolute breaking point. We don't do this to destroy the material for the sake of destruction. We do it to understand its limits. We do it to find exactly where the microscopic fractures begin, so that we can build something significantly stronger, something capable of withstanding even greater storms in the future. The market has just stress tested your soul. It didn't just take your money, it found the hidden cracks in your discipline. It located the precise flaw in your ego. It revealed exactly where your emotions are vulnerable. I spent weeks in that heavy, suffocating silence, walking alone through the park, seriously considering quitting this path forever. I felt defeated, but then, one afternoon, I went back and looked at my old engineering textbooks. I remembered a fundamental truth. A failed bridge does not mean the laws of physics are wrong. It does not mean the universe is against you. It simply means the design was flawed. I realized that I wasn't a failure as a human being. My process was a failure. My blueprint for trading was built on sand, not rock. I stopped looking for magic indicators or secret strategies that promised 100% returns. Instead, I started looking inward. I realized that until I could master the man in the mirror, until I could be brutally honest about my losses and militantly disciplined with my emotions, I would never, ever master the charts. The first blow didn't kill me. It did something much better. It stripped away my arrogance so that I could finally, for the first time in my life, start learning with true humility. So, if your screen is red today, and your heart feels like lead, just breathe. You are still standing. You are still breathing. The money is gone. Yes, it is a high price to pay. But the lesson you just bought is yours to keep forever. Do not hide your scars. They are the evidence that you were brave enough to enter the arena. You tried while others only watched from the sidelines. You might be walking alone right now, carrying a burden that no one else understands. But you are walking, and on this path, that is enough. Thank you for being here with me. In the next episode, we will talk about the first steps of rebuilding, not just your account, but your mind. I am Walk Alone. Sleep well, stay quiet, and stay strong. We will walk again tomorrow.